Hello and welcome to Envision's podcast, Living Confidently with Sight Loss. I'm Mike, and in today's feature, we're taking a closer look at the people working behind the scenes in eye care and how their work makes a real difference to patients every day. Now, I was joined earlier in the week by Antonia and Mahmoud from CHEC, and we began by asking them if they could tell us a little bit about the role and what they do.
Yeah, so I am the Hub Hospital Manager for Hub 2 in CHEC, which is CHEC Blackpool, CHEC Preston and CHEC Warrington.
So actually I wear two hats really. I'm a consultant ophthalmologist, so I still operate, do clinical work, look after patients directly. But alongside that, I'm the clinical director for ophthalmology at CHEC, and that means I oversee clinical work across the sites, everything from how we deliver care to how we respond when things don't go to plan, to making sure our standards are consistent wherever a patient is seen. So part of my job is very human, patient-facing, and the other part is more systems, governance, and making sure the whole organisation is delivering safe and high-quality care. And I think the second part cannot be done without the first part being there.
Yeah. So I'm guessing there's no such thing as a typical day for you then, Mahmoud. There's no 2 days that are the same.
No. Generally, there isn't any typical day, and I think if there was, I would probably get bored quite quickly.
Yeah.
You might start the day in theatre doing surgery, and then midday you're reviewing a clinical incident, and later you're on meetings discussing service improvements or training. Some days are very clinical, very hands-on. Other days are more strategic thinking about how we improve pathways, reduce risk, or support teams better. It's quite a lot of context switching, but that is part of the challenge and also what makes it interesting.
Yeah. Yourself, Antonia, I'm guessing there's no 2 days that are the same for you either?
Definitely not. I don't think there's anywhere in CHEC, to be fair. A lot of my job is to put into operation what Mahmoud expects us to do. So managing the staff, managing the facilities, making sure that everything runs as safely and effectively as possible. So there's definitely different challenges every single day.
Yeah. So when you start your day, what's normally your main priority? What's the first thing that you would both do?
Well, I think patient care as a healthcare provider partnering with NHS. So healthcare for the patients is the main focus of every job.
Are there any particular challenges that people might not expect there to be in your roles?
Well, I think from the outside, people assume that healthcare is mostly about the clinical side, the surgery and the diagnosis, but actually a lot of the complexity is in what happens around that.
Yeah.
And communication between the teams, making sure follow-ups happen correctly, ensuring patients know what to do if something changes. Those are the areas where things can become a little bit challenging. And also scaling services safely is not straightforward. It's one thing to do something well in one place, and it's another to do consistently across multiple sites, and that is the main challenge.
Across challenges like that, I mean, how do you support your team, especially during the busy and demanding periods?
So again, it's about consistency and having processes in place that support the staff, listening to any concerns that they have and making sure we act on those. There's new challenges every day, but we have a strong team that works together to make sure that we overcome these things and give the patients the best care that we can. Now,
we often hear about waiting times in healthcare, and I believe that CHEC are doing brilliantly in helping reducing those times. What does that actually look like in practice?
So the CHEC, we're in a unique position where we can be quite flexible with our clinics and our demands. So, we monitor our waiting times very closely. We have a dedicated team in head office which monitor capacity and performance. So if we're filling up clinics, we simply add more clinics on so that we reduce the waiting time for patients. There are some areas that we have to align with ICB waiting times. So we obviously adhere to those alongside making sure we're as flexible as we can.
And that still makes sure patients still feel cared for as individuals.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And that is really an important one. When services are busy, there's always a risk patients may feel like part of a system rather than a person or an individual. And honestly, it often comes down to small things, taking extra minutes to listen properly or explain things clearly, not rushing the interaction, even if the appointment is short, and we understand that challenge.
Yeah.
How you use that time makes a big difference. Patients can tell very quickly whether they're being treated as an individual or just processed.
Or just, it's about having a good bedside manner, I think is the term. Yeah, it's just making sure like the patients feel valued and opinionated, and it's not just right. Yeah, we've got Joe blogs in and out in 5 minutes, and it's the next person. It's just making that person feel valued, really.
And there is a task for everyone in the healthcare, not just the clinicians.
Yeah. Many patients that you see are adjusting to changes in their vision. Have you learned anything from them in the way that they're dealing with that?
We're always inspired by the kind of positivity that patients with vision loss have.
Yeah.
They approach everything with positivity. They make sure that, any challenges they have, they do the best to overcome. That's why services like yours are really important. You obviously offer a more holistic approach to, their low vision than we can offer.
Yeah.
So having these partnerships really helps and supports our patients. We can signpost them to you, and, that's a really useful thing for them to have.
And for anyone listening who may be going through that right now, what would you say?
I would say don't jump too far. Take it step by step. Often there are treatments or ways to slow things down or adaptations that can help you maintain independence. And our brains are clever in adapting to new things. And importantly, you're not dealing with it alone. There are support systems, both medically and socially, that can help in these conditions.
Yeah, and as you were saying, alongside the clinical care support from groups like us, they can make a big difference. Offering advice, support groups, and someone to talk to.
Exactly.
When things don't go to plan, how would you handle it?
So in medicine, things don't always go perfectly, and that's a reality. In the moment, the priority is always the patient. Stabilize the situation, manage the issue, keep things calm. Afterwards, it's about reflection, understanding what happened, whether anything could be improved, or making sure learning is shared between different teams. Now, under pressure.
Yeah. So what helps you stay calm under pressure? Antonia?
I think that is just the default, to be as calm as possible.
Yeah.
I'm very operationally minded, so approaching things kind of logically, assessing the situation, what is it that's causing the biggest issue, and addressing that first. I also have a really good team, so they're there to support, so making sure that everyone understands what the issues are and their role and how they can help. But yeah, when it's high pressure, being calm is the biggest kind of thing that we can do, and it helps the team feel calm as well. So.
I know it's not exactly the same, but I've worked in pubs, restaurants before, and the best thing to do when it's really busy is just to stay calm. Everything just works out a lot easier and a lot calmer. If your staff are calmer, patients are a lot calmer, customers are a lot calmer, and everything just goes according to plan, so to speak, I think.
And I think trust here is the key, that you trust yourself, your training, your experience, and your team as well. You know your team very well. You know your team is supportive, and you know that they can cope with that tough moment. Yeah.
Are there any patient moments that have really stuck with you?
Well, there are quite a few, but the ones that stay with me are usually the ones related to patients' lives. A patient saying they can read again or recognize faces properly. I started to see my grandchildren now, or go back to driving. That is huge for the patients. We sometimes underestimate how much vision affects independence. So when that vision is restored, it's not just a clinical outcome, it's a life change.
Just moving on, what do you see as the biggest challenge in healthcare right now? Just as we wrap up, before we finish, what's been your proudest moment in this role?
For me, I think seeing services grow while maintaining quality standards. And growth is relatively straightforward. Doing it safely and consistently is where the real work is. Challenging, yes, but it's very rewarding at the end.
And Tony, for you?
Having recently stepped into multi-site management, so having 3 sites to look after, and making sure that they all function well and deliver safe and effective care, I think has been a real highlight for me. All the teams are very, they work well together, they know what's expected, and I think you can walk into any of our sites and you would get the same experience as a patient, and that makes me really proud.
Brilliant. And just a couple of quick fire questions. One word to describe your job off the top of your head. Don't think about it, just
Responsibility.
responsibility.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Rewarding.
Do you prefer tea or coffee?
Coffee.
Coffee.
Loads of coffee.
Loads of coffee. At what point do you put the milk in?
Oh,
Do you put it in?
to me, coffee should be respected. No milk, no sugar.
No milk, no sugar. Fair enough.
We're the opposite. I like a syrupy iced latte.
Yeah,
Like a straight coffee.
it's the age-old debate. At what point do you put the milk in, if at all? Best way to relax. So if you come home after a long day, what do you like to do?
Well, in dreams, I would like to switch off and spend time with my family.
Yeah.
In reality, that never happens.
No. And one piece of advice that you live by. And any particular motto that you've got?
I would say do the right thing. Even when it's not the easiest option, you have to do the right thing.
Well, thank you very much to you both for joining us today. And don't forget, Envision is here to help. We offer a wide range of services, including befriending, social groups and activities, advice and guidance, and opportunities to stay active and connected. You can get in touch with Envision by calling us on 01253 362696. That's 01253 362696. You can visit our website, which is www.envision-nw.co.uk. That's www.envision, spelt NVISION-NW.co.uk. Or you can find us on YouTube, Facebook and Spotify. Just search for the Envision Sight Loss Charity. And don't forget to follow and subscribe to stay up to date. Thank you very much for listening, and I'll be back soon with more from Envision.